Welcome, 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 everyone. So happy you could be here. Everyone on Rumble and everyone on YouTube. Um, Today is Double Decker Day. Right now, you're seeing Off the Cuff for those of you that are new. I know on YouTube I get a lot of new people. And on Rumble tonight at 6 p.m. is Fab 4. Actually, today is Fab 5. So we've got a big show tonight that's going to be pretty interesting. Today is going to be interesting as well. I kind of veered from this topic for a while. And then, I pray and then I feel to do certain things. And this one has been pressing on me. I know I'm going to get a lot of emails and I'm going to get a lot of people who are not happy that I'm doing something like this, but I have to do what I have to do. Now, I'm back on YouTube, and just so all of you know, after the first of the year, Off the Cuff will only be on YouTube. I didn't want to do it today, and I didn't want to mess people up, but I will be back on YouTube solely. Now, why is that? YouTube will be sent out to a lot of different people and put in front of their faces that may not find me or ever listen to me. Not that I think I have the corner on truth, or I don't by any means. There's a lot of amazing people out there sharing their heart and sharing some awesome truth. But for me, I'm the only one that I know because I'm me. You understand? I'm the one that I know what I'm sharing. I could stand behind and never have to renege from anything I say. Doesn't mean I'm always right. Doesn't mean I'll always tell you everything you need to know. Some things I can't say. Some things I'm not allowed to say. There's a lot. But I'm saying all this because I'm dealing with a lot on Rumble. I get at least 10 to 15 every couple of days emails about how they're being unsubscribed from Rumble. I have probably a couple of thousand people over the last year that have said to me they're being unsubscribed. I put up a video to play and it gets stopped. I can't even get videos to play on Rumble, and people are really upset because they've done what I said. They've gone on freespoke.com and brave.com, which was given to us by a member of our community, and they still getting commercials. So not to leave it in the dust, but God is really speaking to me about making a change. I'm already feeling the shift. The shift has affected me. And because of that, I will be having, and I'm not going to go into this now. Let me just get through the fundraisers and then I'll go into that because it's very important. 2 quick fundraisers for the gathering. Okay. We've done 12 of them. We've spent a couple $100,000 actually. A lot of it was donations. Thank you. And we pray for all of our partners. The second way is 2 of our fundraisers. One is wearetakingitback.com. We partnered with them. We met with the CEO, who's an incredible patriot. Go to wearetakingitback.com. That's our website. Just explains a little bit about it. Then you give us your name and your phone number, and we'll text you. Not spamming you, not going to bother you, just to give you the information that you need to go forward to buy things like grass-fed beef and makeup and snacks and cleaning products and things like that are really clean, some of the best stuff on the market. So go there. That helps us to gatherings, okay? Also, the second way is joyandcountry.com. Our daughter Jenna did this for us when we started doing this 2.5 years ago. I'm wearing a new one. It's Daughter of the King. It's got a crown. This is embroidered. It's a very, and I keep saying bougie, it's very kind of bougie sweatshirt. It's not printed. It comes in all kinds of colors. I'm also wearing the He is Risen. It's got a cross. This is a toggle. Easy to put on, ladies. You just do it this way, and it's it. It's got a toggle. It's got an Austrian crystal, which represents the open tomb. And this says he is risen. And then there's the matching earrings. You know what? I'm not going to take them off. You go see them. They're beautiful. It says he is risen. There's a halo around it with a clear Austrian crystal. Beautiful stuff. Stainless steel, and will not tarnish, nothing. So go to either the description below in the box and all the description, and it'll have direct links, and you can look at all three of these there. Or you can go to joyandcountry.com, check out everything. She's got daily doorbusters there, and go to Delora's Closet and you'll see all of these. Right now, Jenna is giving Saturday steals. That's 10% off your entire order until tomorrow night at midnight. You want to stock up on some stuff, get some beautiful things. Got work clothes, all kinds of things on there. Incredible jewelry. You'll see more of that tonight on Joy and Country. So go there and help us out. All right, amen. Okay, let me just say this before I begin on the topic. I said it, I'm already feeling the shift. You're going to see people change. You're going to see people that have been doing things like this, like me, change. God's been redirecting me with off the cuff, the way it looks. It's very different than Fab 4. Fab 4 and Solomon's Porch are what they are. Off the cuff isn't an evolution. After the first of the year, I will do a show, and I'm going to call it Up Close and Personal. Okay, I'm going to explain to you what's been going on with me all year. Start the new year. It's going to be new branding, a new direction. God, this is exactly what God spoke to me. And I've been beseeching him to tell me, what are you trying to get over to me? He said to me, you must go from revealing truth to exposing corruption. Now, not that I have not exposed corruption, but it will be more based on things of the day, what's happening, what I've discovered that could be happening, right before the inauguration that you need to know about. I will always cover topics like I'm covering today, but it's going to have a different flavor. It's going to be different. I'll always be me. I cannot be anything but me. But if you're sensing the wind of the Spirit and the wind of change in the atmosphere, you'll understand this. Getting a lot of emails, like a lot. And it's funny because I just got one this morning from someone in our community I've gotten to know. And they all say the same thing. She probably said it the best. She said, when are you coming back on True Social? You're on X all the time. And I'm not exaggerating, probably 100 of you have written to me over the past 2-3 weeks about that. So let me explain to you, because she reminded me this morning. I'm on X because I'm in the trenches. I'm in the war. I'm in the foxhole. Okay? That's why I'm there. It's evangelistic for me. True Social, I'm still posting, but it's not the same stuff, because on True Social, pretty much I'm preaching to the choir. Okay? This is why Dennis and I never started a brick and mortar church, because we're not into preaching to those. We're into resource telling. And on Solomon's Porch, we say, meet us at the porch. You're being fed. You're being groomed to go out yourself. You all have a calling. You all should be doing things like this. If it's not on here, then it's with your neighbors. We're into taking your arms and letting us lift you up, okay? So that you're able to be who God called you to be. That's where I'm going. That's where we've always been. We could open a church and probably end up with a few thousand people. That's not where God has called us, okay? We're opening impact centers, resource centers. Well, Off the Cuff is going to go along with that. I will go more into this after the new year, but I'm asking you to please bear with me. I know I'm getting a lot of emails about a lot of stuff, but there's a method that is happening here, that I'm following God. Change is in the air. And that means change also for those who are hearing their call as well. Okay. So this will be continued, my first off the cuff of next year. I will do an up close and personal. I'll explain it all. You'll understand it. Now, this is my question for all of you, and I'm going to leave it at this. If you have anyone that you know, I don't care if any big people have not interviewed them yet. I will look for bigger people to interview because my questions are different than other people's questions. I'm also looking for the rank and file, boots on the ground, grassroots people, like I had last week when I had a J6er, Derek Gunby. Those are the people I'm looking for to interview. I want to hear their story. I want to hear their experience. What did they go through when they were in Afghanistan? What did they go through? What went on with them when 4 years ago with what happened? Okay. People who have truth that maybe no one has heard. They can expose corruption where no one else will put them on. If you have people like that, write to me at ddgathering@gmail.com. You can also write Delora at DeloraOBrien.com. Either way, it's okay. But write to me. Okay, I'd love to hear you. This will be continued. Okay. I'm going to go over that tonight again on Fab 4. I think it's that important. All right. So, off the cuff for today. DC, London, Vatican. Let me just say this. All I'm about to say, I believe to be true. Could there be some discrepancies here and there? Yes. I am human after all. I do make mistakes. But this is what I can tell you. If I'm saying it, I have verified it many different ways. I do mega research on everything I present. And it's important that I say that. I do believe this is all true. That said, again, could one thing be off? Yes. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but what things you're about to hear, especially if you've never heard any of this before, can be rather shocking. And for my Catholic friends, and I have so many of them on here, and that's my background. That's my husband's background. He was going to be a priest. Please know, I'm not pointing a finger at the Catholic people or the Catholic Church. Just like Mossad and the powers that be in Israel could be corrupt, just like our own government. Doesn't mean the Israeli people are. They are the salt of the earth. Two different things. You got to separate the two. Okay. So these three entities are independent countries and pretty much rule the world. Not the UK, London, not the United States, DC, District of Columbia, and not Italy or Rome, but Vatican City. The District of Columbia is a military arm of the Trinity. I call it the Unholy Trinity. The City of London is the financial arm, and the Vatican is the religious arm. If you have power in those areas, you rule the world. You rule the world, my friends. You have military, finances, and religion. You rule the world. That said, the District of Columbia has allocated 3 electors and treated like a state for purposes of the Electoral College under the 23rd Amendment of the Constitution. I'm saying that to you. So if you watch the certification on the 6th day of January 2025, you will find out that District of Columbia is given 3 electors. So don't be shocked and say, oh no, they're part of the United States. They're not. It's for the purposes of the Electoral College. They all have obelisks. And that's another off the cuff all by itself. I don't want to go into that. It is not of God. That's all I can say. but they all have obelisks. As you can see here, the London obelisk is finance, the City of London, not any part of England. The Vatican obelisk, Vatican City, not any part of Italy. And the Washington, D.C. military obelisk, not any part of America. Let me give you a little bit of a background, even though I'm not going to go into it. The London obelisk is called Cleopatra's Needle. It's located on the River Thames and has been there since 1878. The area is owned by the Knights of Templar, which is an order of the Freemasons. There's a sphinx on either side of the obelisk there. The DC obelisk is known as the Washington Monument, was dedicated to George Washington by the Freemason Grand Lodge of the District of Columbia in 1848. And let that sink in for a minute. The Vatican obelisk is located in St. Peter's Square. If you go to Italy and you visit the Vatican, you will see it there. These three cities are actually corporations, not countries. These are three cities that are registered as corporations. They are corporations that come under no national authority. They have separate laws. They pay no taxes to the country. They have their own police force, and they have their own flags. Together, they control pretty much of what happens in this world, even the food supply. They control economies, Wall Street money flow, foreign policies, United Nations, media, natural resources, politicians, and on and on. They control 80% of the entire world's wealth. Let me say that one more time. These three entities, cities, countries actually, control 80% of the entire world's wealth. What is their goal? It's to turn the world into a totalitarian society on a global scale, turning the world into rulers and the ruled, elites and the enslaved. So let's start with the City of London in the UK. It's not part of the United Kingdom. It is not. It's not part of the European Union. It couldn't be part of the European Union because it doesn't have democratic elections every year. In London, it's the banks that have the votes. Do they have votes? No. But they call the shots. The Queen herself is not even allowed to enter without permission. She is not sovereign in London. This has been going on since 1688. And the British Parliament does not apply to the City of London. But there are actually two Londons. There's London, then there's the City of London. Two separate city halls, two separate mayors. They collect separate taxes. They have separate flags. The Mayor of London has no power over what it's called, Right Honorable Lord Mayor of London. That's the City of London. The City of London is a corporation and older than the UK. And they have a representative in the UK Parliament to make sure the Parliament doesn't forget the interests of the City of London. The City of London houses quite a bit. Rothschilds controlled Bank of England, Lloyd's of London, London Stock Exchange, all British banks. Branch offices of 348 foreign banks, 70 United States banks, not in London, in the City of London. They have publishing houses that are complete monopolies. It's the headquarters of worldwide Freemasonry. It's the headquarters for the worldwide money cartel, known as the Crown. The City of London is controlled by the Bank of England, which is owned by the Rothschild family. The Queen refers to the City of London as the firm. Did you ever see that film? Watch it again with this knowledge and realize it's stereotyped, but is known as the Crown. City of London directly and indirectly controls all mayors, councils, regional councils, multinational and transnational banks, corporations, judicial systems, uh, IMF, World Bank, Vatican Bank, uh, London Italian subsidiary. I'm going to have a woman on here that's going to explain that even further about what is actually going on in Italy. European Central Bank, United States Federal Reserve, which for those of you who may not know is privately owned and secretly controlled by 8 British-controlled shareholding banks. The Bank for International Settlements in Switzerland, which is also British-controlled and also oversees all the reserve banks around the world, including our own. And the European Union and United Nations Organization. Quite a busy little city of London, isn't it? The Crown controls the global financial system, runs the governments of all the Commonwealth countries, and many non-Commonwealth Western nations as well, like Greece. The Crown traces back to the Vatican, which is headed by the Pope, who owns American Express, by the way. Just a little bit there. In essence, the City of London Corporation could become the old world Earth Corporation would privately own the world. Now, let me just give you a little off the cuff here. I get a lot of people who say to me, why are you on Facebook? Why are you on social media? You know they're controlled. You know they're, of course I know that. I absolutely do know that. But did you know who controlled American Express? Do you have an American Express card? What about MasterCard, Visa? Do you use those? You see, guys, you can try to be as pure as you want. Like I tell you to go to wearetakingitback.com. It'll give you a little bit of control, take a little bit of money from them. But in essence, it's everywhere. It's very difficult because you're part of it. You were born into it. You were bred into it. That's why people have cognitive dissonance. They have a hard time hearing this. People that I knew and worked with for decades think I'm out of my mind. They have, because it's too much for them. And I get it. How difficult to find out that pretty much everything you touch is regulated and you are controlled from within and without. But things are about to change. Let me continue. In essence, the City of London Corporation would become the old world Earth Corporation and would privately own the world. Let me go to Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. As many of you already know, D.C. is not part of the United States. It's located on 10 square miles of land, has its own flag, has its own constitution. The District of Columbia Constitution has zero to do with the American Constitution. You could probably guess that, since they don't even care to follow it, those that are there. You've all heard of this. A lot of people don't believe it. It's absolutely true. You can find it everywhere now. Don't look on Google. You're not going to get it there. Look on freespoke.com, brave.com, even duckduckgo.com sometimes. The Act of 1871, passed by Congress, created a separate corporation known as the United States and Corporate Government of the District of Columbia. Why can't you find that, like on Google? Because they don't want you to find it. Put anything in Google, put Constitution, and they have an algorithm that makes things pop on the first 10, 20 pages, because people don't go past 3, 4 pages on Google or any browser. Just remember that. Go to page 100. You're likely to find it. So many people don't believe it. But what needs to be further investigated is why the United States still continues to pay tax to the District of Columbia if it's a free nation. That's a question I have for DJT. The real United States tried to cancel the charter of the First National Bank in 1811. Immediately after doing that, listen to this. This is history. 4,500 British troops arrived and burnt down the White House, both houses of Congress, the War Office, the U.S. State Department, and Treasury, and destroyed the ratification records signed by 12 U.S. states of the Constitution, where the 13th Amendment was to stop anyone receiving a title of nobility or honor from serving in the U.S. government. They're freaking out because DJT and Musk and Vivek discovered that in a bill that was supposed to stop our government from closing down this thick was a 40% raise for Congress, getting off of Obamacare, really, and getting on better insurance. All kinds of perks, all kinds of things were in there. Let the government shut down. All that'll happen is not essential. People will not have to go to work, but guess what? They don't go to work anyway. They're working remotely. I mean, come on, guys. Let me keep going here. The War of 1812 lasted 3 years, and the bank charter was reestablished in 1816 after the ratification of the Treaty of Ghent in 1815. Now remember, note here, the 13th Amendment, which was ratified in 1810, no longer appears in current copies of the U.S. Constitution. The Federal Reserve is a privately owned banking system that does not belong to America or Americans. Is the United States a country or a corporation? It's my question to you. If it's a corporation, and it is, then the U.S. president and officials at the Congress are working for that corporation and not for the American people. That's why they're able to do what they do. It appears that the U.S. corporation is owned by the same country that owns Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. You notice those three go together with the United States? Look back 4 years ago, same timing. See, the leaders of all of that all serve the Queen and her crown land, and U.S. too has been the remains of a crown colony that belonged to the empire of the three city-states, City of London, Vatican City, and Washington, D.C. The U.S. president is nothing more than a figurehead for the central bankers and the transnational corporations, both of which are controlled by the high ecclesiastic Freemasonry from the City of London, where they have their global home, because that's the home of the global financial system. Are you aware even more now why they hate DJT? It goes way beyond the surface of what we speak about everywhere, of why they despise this man. He refuses to be a figurehead. And if this corporation is not dissolved, then he probably will not be able to fully govern from DC. I know he loves it there. He really does. I've heard privately, I went to Mar-a-Lago, and I heard privately in that room how much he loves it. I heard privately that that's a place that he really would want to drain the swamp and change everything. But if that doesn't get done, he will have to move the Constitutional Republic to another area. I don't know how he can't. He will have to. I hope he does. That's why I say to people, no, he needs to go to DC. See, he needs to go to DC because this is what he needs to do. I don't know how difficult that will be. We are going to find out after he is inaugurated. As of right now, he wants to drain the swamp there. So he might still be able to govern from there. And maybe he will be able to kill the snake from several hundred years. So let's go to Vatican City. This is not part of Rome or Italy. It's the last true piece, hear my words, of the Roman Empire. It's the last piece of the Roman Empire. Why do you think what the inside looks like? How they dress. They're hanging on to dear life for that power and that authority. The Vatican's wealth includes investments with the Rothschilds in Britain, France, and the United States. oil, weapons, corporations. The Vatican's billions are in the Rothschild-controlled Bank of England and the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank. The money possessed by the Vatican, listen to this, is more than all the banks, all the corporations, and even many governments, which makes us ask, why not elevate the plight to the poor and give to them? You have nearly $1 trillion at your disposal, as well as priceless paintings and artifacts, because being poor serves them. When you're poor, you are struggling for survival. The Bible says, I wish you would prosper as your soul prospers. God wants you to prosper. Without money, you're enslaved. Am I all for the prosperity preachers? Absolutely not. That's a bless me club. I don't mean that. I'm talking about the word of God and what God himself wants for you. To prosper, so you are not enslaved. So you don't own a huge mortgage on your house. But all these things are going to get worked out in time. Okay. So you don't have to pay 22% on a bank card that's owned by the City of London through the Vatican. And you have to pay 22% to buy food. I've been there. I've been there. I get it. He wants you out of debt, and you will be out of debt. Will it happen the second his hand lays on that Bible? No. There will be a shift. And when that shift happens, it'll go toward everything I'm talking about now. God's going to turn this all over. You watch and say, in a moment, maybe not. In a process, absolutely. Vatican wealth has been accumulated over the centuries by taxing indulgences. Some popes have sold tickets to heaven. The Pope even says, if I say you can't go to heaven, you're not going. It's shocking to me. So Vatican City, they have their own head of state, their own army, their own foreign policy, their own stamps, their own radio, their own newspapers, their own official language, their own ministries, their own passports. They do use the euro by a special agreement with the European Union, but issue their own coins, not banknotes. Italy has absolutely no say whatsoever in their internal affairs. It's a country all on its own. It created its own modern form by the Lateran Treaty of 1929. Go look it up. And that was joined with fascist Italy. It's a form of government of absolute theocracy, headed by an elected monarch, the Pope. You didn't elect him. The Vatican is the smallest independent state in the world, Vatican City, and is the residence of the spiritual leadership of the Roman Catholic Church. On a more profane level, the Vatican has moved to meet international demands for more financial transparency following an investigation in 2010. Someone did their job, looking into the Vatican Bank over violations of money laundering rules. Did anything come of it? Of course not. Of course not. At least it was out there. Vatican City state facts. Population, 453. Languages, Latin, also Italian. Life expectancy has been 82 years. Can you imagine that? Head of state, Pope Francis. Vatican City, as far as media, has the most powerful transmitters, beaming Vatican radio, which is the Pope's voice, to a global audience. I could go even back further, but for the sake of this broadcast, let's start right here. 1939 to 1945, during World War II, the Vatican pursued a policy of neutrality under Pius XII. Many even admit that the Holy See made a deal with Hitler. Hope that doesn't affect me. To keep the city safe. 1962, John the 23rd calls the Second Ecumenical Vatican Council. It oversees extensive reform of the liturgy and new approaches to relations between the church and the world, other Christian churches, non-Christian religions. 1978, the accession of John Paul II after the death of John Paul I was Pope for just 33 days. Do you ever wonder why? Do you ever wonder why? 33 days and then he dies? Look into that. The first non-Italian Pope since Adrian VI in the 16th century, he is seen by many as a key figure in helping to bring communism down in Eastern Europe, which did absolutely nothing. 2013, Benedict XVI becomes the first modern pope to resign from the role due to his ill health. Pope Francis becomes the first Jesuit pope and the first pope from the Americas. Big thing in 2013. That was the beginning of Agenda 2030. Jesuits, that's another off the cuff also. Some say this pope is the most ruthless, but the most powerful. And that comes from my Catholic friends. Together, these three cities have, under the wing of various societies and groups, placed globally with their own so that no one contests the global plan. And those that do, well, all the assassinations kind of explains things. I'm going to just touch on one of the groups that's rarely mentioned. I don't know why it's rarely mentioned, but I've never heard it covered. Maybe I just don't listen enough. The Fabian Society, started in 1887, is a mixture of fascism, what happened in Germanyism, Marxism, and communism. It is now hard to not imagine that all these ideologies would have also been created by the same people. Anything to divide, you understand? Democrat, Republican, divide. Off of that shoots different smaller parties. It's all to divide. No one should have a party. There should be no parties. They should not be able to have a certain platform. Every man or woman should run on their own merits, what they did and what they plan on doing, not to hide behind a platform that raises hundreds of millions of dollars. And lobbyists as well should be gone. All of this stuff needs to be taken into account. The Fabian, let me just say this, the communist takeover of Russia is said to be a work of the British Fabian Society, again, financed by the City of London banking families. So what other entities did they create through the Fabian Society? Bank of International Settlements, you're going to recognize some of these, International Monetary Fund, the Club of Rome, the Committee of 300, the CIA, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group, the Federal Reserve System, the IRS, Goldman Sachs, the City of London, the City of Brussels, the United Nations, the Israeli Mossad, and the AP, Associated Press. They reveal, as part of the Fabian Society, what to use in the media and in their realm of influence and authority of what they want to use to control us. Australian Senator Chris Sach, SCHACHT, said in 2001, and I quote, "You probably were not aware that us Fabians have taken over the CIA, KGB, M15, and the ASIO, which is the Australian Security Intelligence Organization, the IMF, the World Bank, and many other organizations. From all of this, we should realize that nothing happens in isolation. Nothing. Therefore, every event, however small, a school shooting, drones, every event, no matter how big, no matter how small, is orchestrated by a handful of people who control the world and what goes on in the world. So what has the Unholy Alliance been responsible for and are trying to convince you and me of? Global warming and climate change. By creating an environmental catastrophe and winning the Nobel Prize, they've created public awareness for a global government that gives them the right to take action over national governments. Known as UN Agenda 21. Take a closer look at it, how it reveals how they want people to get permission for everything they do so they can make sure that global warming doesn't happen. Now, they had to change it. They had to get rid of the warming because people are freezing everywhere. So they call it climate change now. Federal banking system. The Fabian Society created the Federal Reserve Act in 1913, handing over the U.S. economy to a cartel of international financiers. Big Pharma. They're responsible, the Fabian Society, for Big Pharma and for drugging the third world. System of local government. You know how you want everything to be down in local government? They promoted devolution, a new concept of regional councils, in a bid to increase a revenue generating system and let the people make them feel like they had a say. Now, am I saying do not take part in your local government? 100%. But what I don't think people realize is your local government is actually more important than your national government. Always go to the root. Always go to the bottom and work from bottom up, because devolution brought them down there. And you must have a say. That's happening in Chicago right now. They are flipped out over there. You read all the people. You go on TikTok, you go on X. They're everywhere. Grassroots people saying, no, you will not do that to us. They can say that, but voting people in and running for office, running at a local level is very, very important. I've thought of it myself many, many times. I just wait for God to say, go ahead, and I'll do it. I just can't. I have to have money behind me. That's the problem. I don't think a party will back me because I don't back them. So it's very hard for me. I know I'm saying that because many of you, I can't tell you how many people have asked me to do that. And I get it. I don't know what to say. I guess someone needs to contact me. If it's God, it'll happen. They are the Fabian Societies after abolishing all property rights. That's why they're being bought up. All the land is being bought up. That's why they're trying to kill the farming in the Midwest. So farmers will want to sell, and they give them double what it's worth, and they buy, and they're buying everything. In 1974, at the Habitat Conference of the Fabian Society, private property was identified as a threat to peace and equality of the government, using environmentalism as a ploy. The quest was to take over Earth's resources and place it under a central authority at the United Nations and issue licenses for payment. Who owns the UN? The same banking families. In 1987, the World Wilderness Congress was held, organized by the Rothschilds World Conservation Bank, which was set up that same year. Look, the World Bank is likely to be replaced by the World Conservation Bank. The aim is to break down national banks and assets. So it'll be diverted to a new bank you'll know about, which is why there's an aim to merge currencies into 2 or 3 major currency groups and replace them with a new electronic currency, which is said to be called the Earth dollar. Why do you think DJT is all of a sudden cryptocurrency? Because it's diversified and you can't follow it. You can't control it. He knows what he's doing. Give the guy a break. Trust him a little bit. I get a lot of stuff with people that say, I don't trust this, I don't trust that. We have to stop looking at the dot and look at the whole picture. Look, the minute he goes askew, I'll be on here like, But until then, I know what he's doing. I understand. If you understand this stuff, you realize he's going for the jugular. Okay? Number 6, the Patriot Act was created by the Fabian Society. Oh, no, that was created by George W. No, was it? It was created by the Fabian Society. The Human Rights Bill, the European Union Constitution, the Security and Prosperity Partnership, all being manipulated to place power in the control of just a few hands. Their plans are plotted annually at the Bilderberg Group. And the agents run numerous think tanks back and forth. They steer the government policy through the AP, who's part of Fabian Society. 13 banking families that run the world control the central banks of the world. They print money, they give loans, they set the interest. They crashed, and when you have a crash, 2008, all the crashes around the world, it's them. Keeping silver low, it's them. They give loans and interest, and then they explain how national debt never decreases. Like, you can never decrease the national debt. Why do you think there's a million different government agencies to pay people to keep the debt? That's what Doge is trying to get rid of. This is why they stopped the bill that gave Congress, who works 110 days a year, 40% raise. Did you ever hear of employees giving themselves raises? I never did. Congress does. There's a saying that all wars are bankers' wars. The danger is when it comes to food as being controlled, like under Monsanto and GMO. So how do you stop that? Everything you buy, every single thing. Look up. That's why, again, I said we are taking it back.com. You get it? Look up everything. Find out the companies that Monsanto, do it, guys, do it. Find out the companies that Monsanto owns. Buy nothing from them. Buy nothing that doesn't say GMO. It's not going to say has GMOs, but it'll say non-GMO. Only buy non-GMO food because you're being poisoned. Remember, Monsanto's the same company that created Agent Orange. I have family that died because of Agent Orange in Vietnam. Bottom line, the unholy trinity controls the world. DJ T is ripping the rug out from under them. But I said many times, there'll be a shift. And that happens when he does that, man. Lays his hand on that Bible, takes that oath, and it will be felt. But that's only scratching the surface. Things will get better. Prices will drop. Freedom will be more than it has been in decades. And you will physically feel it. But this centuries-old cabal is not going down in 4 years. I'm telling you, it's not going down in 4 years. You need to watch who do I think after 4 years should be the next one. I know what I believe. Until it's said otherwise and I see otherwise, I'll stay with what I believe. Exposure is needed, which is why I'm now going into the news end and not so much. See, you guys, we're choking on truth right now. Okay, the truth community. Everybody knows. Am I revealing things a lot of people didn't know today? Probably. But we've got to look underneath the hood, pick up the rug. We got to find exposure, and it's got to be, this is why I'm going into more of the breaking news cycle and giving you what I see is happening current day, because we've got to get there. The truth has been revealed. It's time to expose corruption. I'm doing my part. Please do yours. Share this. It's important we get this info out, but more than all the info I gave, is important for people to take the bull by the horns and realize you can do something right from your home. Whether you're 9 or 90, it doesn't matter. You can do what I said. check Monsanto, check the products, don't buy them. Go look, only buy things that say non-GMO. Look at your bank cards, see where they come from. Try to get out of debt. These are the things that will stop us from being controlled. Okay? That's it, guys, for this. The Unholy Alliance. You have a question on topic. Please put 3 question marks and the question, and I will see. Very hard for me. Yeah, Vinny Doom. Yes, Vinny Doom. DJT walked in front of the Queen. Spot on, brother. You're absolutely correct. I have a hard time. I got hundreds of people on one. I got close to 1,000 on another. And all of you are asking questions. Very hard for me. Let me repeat what I said at the beginning. I'm going to be on only YouTube starting in January. I'll do an off the cuff. My first off the cuff will be up close and personal. I'll give you exactly what I see for 2025 and what I will be doing and where you can find me and how I will be now exposing corruption on a daily basis, then going back hundreds of years, even thousands of years, and trying to reveal truth. Does it matter? Does that matter? Yes. But if we take care of today and crush what came from there today, our future will be very bright. Okay, I'm looking for if there are no why. Okay, let's see. What do you think? Why do you think Mary King? It's off topic. Mary King, you know, what I'm going to say, this is her question, okay? Why do you think Biden and Harris came back early from their Christmas break? They didn't come back early from their Christmas break. They never left. They were ready to leave, and then they came back because they want to make the news cycle. They did that for the news cycle. Because of the drones, because of Syria, because of Iran, because of all this. And they're making the news cycle. You understand? Whatever they do is always has a component of fear in it. Always. Always. Question. Elma Glasgow. Why are we limiting God to more than 4 years to get rid of the Kabbalah? I'm speaking that God can get rid of them overnight. Yeah, except this is the problem. Man has free will. Man has free will. Now, if you want to see another, Noah's Ark and he wipes it all out, is that what you want? Because that's how he wiped it out the first time. You understand? He's working through people. People have free will. You have to remember that. Yeah, can he do it? But then he wipes the whole thing out. That's what he did during Noah. Remember that. So yeah, Alma, great question. But you got to realize we're in the middle of this, and he's trying to work through people. That's why he called DJT. That's why it was prophesied by me and I work with Kim Clement. That's why, because he's working through people. Bonnie Aldi, did you notice the gallows went up by the Capitol? I saw security going up. I don't know if it's that. Am I missing anyone in Rumble? I'm sorry, guys. I'm over on YouTube. No. Let's see. Can I elaborate on the Pope owning American Express? He owns it through the Fabian group, Mebo. Yeah, that's where you own. But look it up. Look it up, guys. You need to understand. God said to me when I started this. Okay, I prayed 2.5 years ago, and He said, "This is what you have to do. You have to teach them to fish. Don't feed them." That's why I give you the names of people. I spell it out for you. I tell you where to look. Okay. Which is a good question? Which is a good Patriot Bank, Panita? I don't know. Probably the smaller ones, the community banks in your towns, I would think, probably more than anything. Aqua Girl, people calling themselves elite, all Satanists, bloodliners to reptilians. What is it? Look, Aqua Girl, that's a Look, but you have loaded questions. That's who you are. You have these questions that I need a whole show for, girl. I love you dearly because you're a deep thinker, but I can't go down that road. That's a whole nother thing. Wow. Yeah. Sorry, honey. Heinous crimes under the Vatican, Frenchie. Most certainly. Most certainly. Let's take it down. Renee Marie. Okay, this is the issue, Renee Marie. I don't read things with "I have heard." Okay, you're saying "I have heard that this happened." I don't answer questions like that. You've got to give me the source, who said it, was it verified? So the question you're asking me, no, I don't believe that at all. I'm not even going to say it because it's not. You've got to give me a question that is verified, a question that I can answer with verification, not that you heard a truther say it on a Patriot channel. Do you know what I mean? I hope you understand, Renee Marie. Thank you for the question. But yeah, it's hard when it's an "I have heard" situation. Okay, let's see if there's any more. I think that is it. Yeah, Vinny Doom, Kim Clement, my buddy, a real prophet. Truth. And that is another truth, my friend. I think, again, there will be no food again. Remember that. Look, this is what I know. Delora, can you do an off the cuff the moon landing in a show in 2025? Bart Seibel has a lot of info on it. Listen, I love Bart Seibel. It's funny you're saying that. I sent him about a week ago an email before people started doing that. I do not want to share that. I want him to share it or someone else to share it. I actually just wrote him again. I'm hoping he gets it. Maybe you guys could say, hey, Bart, Delora wants you to come on her show and write to him. I know his email's out there. Wait, where can we do our own research on the Fabian Society? James Berryman, great question, James. The best thing I would say is to go on freespoke.com or brave.com and put in the Fabian Society, the Fabian organization, the Fabian occult group, the Fabian whatever, and you'll get a lot. Now, what you have to do is what you read, you verify with other people. So you're always doing cross-referencing because one person can say whatever they want. And it might be true, it might not. I cross-referenced a lot, James, so you should be able to get a lot of information on that. Okay, let's see, anything over here. I don't know, Aquagirl, if Maltese crosses are bad. I'm not one that really likes that kind of old world look cross, so I don't like them. Are they bad? It depends on, the what you think of it, what you give to it. It's all about the heart and about our thoughts and what we believe. Let's see. Yeah, thanks, Renee, for putting that up. Search engines, the two I use mostly are Free Spoke. Those two words, freespoke.com and brave.com. Those two. I use Google when I want to find things that I know will be on there. They hide a lot. And Golden Arrow, Delora, thank you from Kentucky. You're very welcome. Has happening? Did DJ tours around the world visiting leaders relate to the Unholy Alliance? Oh, I sure do believe that. I sure do believe that. Now, you need to understand there are many, many, many leaders of countries that want out. They want out. And they want out of this. They're done. And so the timing could not be better. No one knows more than DJT of what is actually going on. No one. Okay. Yeah, Floss 87, Google, yuck. I get it. But sometimes, you know what I say, Floss 87? I can even learn from a devil. That's why I moveon.org. I'm part of that. I get all their emails. Kamala and Joe Biden, I get all their emails. You got to learn. You don't learn from each other. You learn from people who don't agree with you. Aqua Girl, Christmas ritual portal opening by Pope. What do you think is purpose of it? I think it's all spiritual, and I don't like it at all. I think it's all spiritual. I think it's trying to stop the move of God that's about to happen in this country. It's amazing to me how people can't see through it. But Queen Esther, what do you think was President Trump's purpose of going to Notre Dame reopening? To let Catholics know when he does certain things that might not look like he's with them, that he is. That, my friend, was all optics. Okay, that's it. Love you guys dearly. Please go to wearetakingitback.com if you want to join with me and get it. I mean, the stuff is incredible on there. You have no idea. Most of my makeup I wear is from not from wearetakingitback.com. That's us, but from the company, the Patriot Company. Why can't I say the name? Because Barack Obama sued them in 2012, and I can't say it now publicly. But you go to wearetakingitback.com, you'll read all about it that we put up. You give us your name, give us your phone number, and we'll text you, not spam you, text you and give you more information. Also, joyincountry.com. I can give you that. That's my daughter's website. She sent this over to me, Daughter of the King. Look at this with the crown. I love it. This is not printed. This is embroidered for us specifically. Daughter of the King. Beautiful sweatshirt. Absolutely bougie. There you will see that. This you can get in the description below or in Delora's closet on joyincountry.com. This is one of my favorites. He is risen. This is a pure Austrian crystal, represents the open tomb and a cross. Also, the earrings, same thing. He is risen earrings. It's got the halo of silver around it with the crystal, the open, it represents the open tomb. Get those in Delora's closet. Now, remember, until tomorrow night, guys, at midnight, you get 10% off the entire site. It doesn't matter if a top is marked down to $12. You're still getting 10% off and US free shipping. So go on over there and help us out those ways. God bless you all. Remember, my next Off the Cuff, up close and personal with me, only on YouTube. I will be going to. So you will see me over there from now on. Fab 4 will stay on Rumble, as will Solomon's Porch. Love you all. See you tonight, Fab 4, 6 p.m. on Rumble. God bless you all. Go in the power of God. See you tonight. Ciao.